What's going on? And thank you for coming by to Vape with Viking. So today we are going to look at, in a little bit, sorry. Yeah, we're gonna look at a nice little RDTA. The reason I guess I chuckle on this is because the fact that I've had this for a little bit now, at least several weeks. I usually only do about 1 week of testing before I present these to you guys, but just had too much fun. I mean, I've just been truly enjoying this to get this done. So I definitely want to apologize to Steamcrave, Maggie, and definitely Kevin because they did send this to me for the purpose of this review, and did have some technical issues, so that kind of pushed it. But there was a good chunk in there. It was like, oh, gotta stop using this and actually show it. But I don't wanna. So, yes, there's going to be, heads up, a lot of pros on this atomizer, but definitely banging low, guys. 35 millimeter, a little bit of overhang on the Odin DNA, but it's like a bit of that and that. It kind of counterbalances the whole thing, so really good there. But we got a .12. I believe these were AJ Holland's coils. Yes, they are AJ Holland's, these 4-core aliens that he came out with not too long ago. And of course, always in a tank, what am I running? No, Zolo. That's what I'm running there. So, nom nom nom. 94 watts. Zolo likes it a little bit on the cooler side since it is a grape base, grape and I guess kind of drink base. So likes it on a little bit of the cooler side, but there's some definitely cool things they did with this guy, but hopefully, I know that the down dive is going to be a little lengthy, but a lot of the Steamcrave stuff is just because they have so many things you can do, and there's so many different things to most of their devices that you need explained, because it's like they are the Swiss Army knife of vaping, where they try to definitely cram as much possible technology and customization into their products that takes a little bit to talk about all that stuff. So, but before we get down with this guy, like always, Viking's Advocacy Minute. Again, not too much going around. In at least the vaping world, we got lots and lots of other stuff that's preoccupying our time, like our current government bodies and some of their actions and things that they're saying. Definitely not even waist deep, neck deep into the pandemic right now. I know even on a personal level, my father-in-law and his wife just got tested positive. So definitely want to tell everybody out there, please be safe, be careful. I know it sucks to be isolated a lot of the time, but definitely for your sake and any of your family that possibly could get really devastated by this virus, take your precautions. Sucks. Maybe be a little antisocial for a little while, or I can't even say a little while because the actions of others making it's just prolonged and it just keeps dragging on. But definitely do what you could do, even though I know that I don't particularly like wearing a mask ever. I've even been starting to wear a mask out in public. And I do know here locally, they actually have a deal now where if you're caught without a mask in a public setting where social distancing cannot be maintained, it's a huge fine. It's like $2,500. So please, all I can tell you, vaping, as long as we keep fighting, it's going to stay here. All the stuff that we think that we got to go out and do right now, it will be here as long as we calm down, take care of yourself, and take care of your loved ones, and even if you can't, take care of a stranger. I mean, we all need to pull together, just like vaping. Now it's a human being issue. We all need to pull together, help each other out. But enough of that, because that's definitely Debbie Downer minute there, instead of Vikings Advocacy Minute, Debbie Downer minute. Sorry. But yeah, we're definitely going to get into the ins and outs, definitely show some wicking, show the two different decks that you can throw in here, one being the mesh deck with the chamber reducer, and then of course the actual Ragnar deck, which has some pretty cool airflow to it. And we'll have it on the hydrant as well. especially for the squonking action. But I'm ready. You ready? Yeah, we're ready. Let's drop the hammer on the Ragnar. All right, so what I got for you today is what I've been using for weeks and probably, hopefully, really excited to see. That is the Robomizer Ragnar RDTA. This, if you remember, probably a couple months ago, I was telling you about the Viking RDTA they were coming out with. This is it. They did have to change the name. I guess it ran into an issue with another company. But here it is. So Flavor and Cloud Beast. On the side, you got Steamcrave, designed by, of course, BJ. Then you have your color configurations here. You got stainless, black, and gunmetal. And then more Steamcrave there. The actual product number. Then back, you got UPC and scratch and check authenticity. And then on the inside, you're going to get this included. You're going to get your manual. You're going to get your tri-tool. You get your bag of spares here, your extra glass, which Steamcrave always does, which is awesome. A chamber reducer, we'll get into that, and of course the Steamcrave sticker. All right, so with this chamber reducer, can I give you a real up and close, quick look at that guy? You'll see, which when I show you, I guess, the full item that it comes with, hello, there's the Ragnar. You'll see the airflow. There's 2 slots and then a hole. And this is a reducer, but like they will tell you in the manual, it's not just a reducer. See, it says there, what's the chamber reducer? It's actually a deck adapter. With this, you can use the mesh kit from the Robomizer Plus kit, which it does say, of course, not included, but you can use the single coil deck, Velocity deck, Series deck, Process deck, all the different decks. One of the main thing it is definitely used for, because they want you to pair it with, of course, the Hydron 220. They definitely want you to pair it with that and the backpack, because, of course, big mill capacity of this backpack, good size of the mod itself. So they want you to match that up all perfectly with that, which not a problem whatsoever. With the mesh deck, though, here's the way it works: is you have your plus mesh deck right here, which I have used. You take Wicked just like normal, because it is just a Aromomizer Plus mesh deck. It does have a squonk pin in there. All you do to make sure that it'll fit into the deck of that guy is you'll line it up, like if this was the Plus V2, notch to notch, wiggle, wiggle. Boom. Now it's ready to fit into the actual deck of the Ragnar. We're going to get into right now. All right, so here's the Ragnar itself. So nice thing is every single one you get does come with this hybrid stainless and resin drip tip. Really, really comfortable drip tip. And one thing you'll see in there, it's got a very nice slope to it that is going to deliver some pretty decent flavor. Have the Aromomizer Ragnar RDTA right up on top there. You're just going to give this a little twist. Say a little twist. Full threaded, eh? There's that right there. And then those large, super large kidney fill holes. Now, you're going to see any dusty, dirty stuff like that on there. I've been using this for weeks, and I just hand cleaned it, so you'll probably see some residue from paper towels and stuff like that. So anyway, just like the rest of the Steamcrave stuff here, we're going to tear this completely apart so you can see how some of this stuff works. You can take all of the glass and this little chimney guy here, you can take it completely off. So when you are running that mesh deck, actually turn this guy into an RDA. Pretty cool there. I guess you would put that on there first. Put that on, and then you have that. So it still makes a fairly large RDA, of course, but works with the mesh that way. And you'll see here is your juice flow control. You got open and closed, locked, unlocked. That's the way those guys work there. They can just slowly twist. There you go. So there's like half. Now it just starts closing up. that juice well, or juice flow, I should say. Got that. And then, of course, on the bottom, you got the design by BJ. Then little serial number there. I got number 430. Twist off the bottom here. You'll have your deck. And before we pull that out, I'm going to show you the airflow control. You have lots of options here. So we'll go off. This is something a little new that you haven't seen. You're going to have your one line airflow. Of course, your 2 lines of airflow. And it's like the Aromizer Plus V2. It is that honeycomb. Then you're going to have, what? 2 slots in a hole. What is that? So the nice thing about the Ragnar is this. It has an added bit of airflow here. So you'll see the 2 lines with the multiple holes, and then there's a oval at the bottom there. You'll have adjustment of the 2 lines, 1 hole, 1 line, 1 hole, and then just the bottom hole itself. And here is why. We'll get down into the actual chamber portion. And it might not be very easy to see in there. You can still kind of see it in there, but it is a little different. The deck is where you're going to see the difference. So you have that oval hole is here. That is for under the coil airflow. And of course, the holes on the sides, or the long honeycomb, is going to be for side airflow action. They call it 80-20. That hole, in my opinion, is large enough and on each side, and in my opinion, improves the flavor enough that I would call it probably closer to 70-30, maybe even 60-40, but 70-30, I think, better than 80-20. Even though they designed it, I do notice when you cut that off, it's pretty significant difference in the draw and airflow. We'll take one of the coils out of here and show you. I'm talking about the coil length. I did cut at 5 millimeter, and a lot of people have been saying 4.5, 5, somewhere around in there. Works really well at that 5.5, in my opinion. Main reason why is I know a lot of people with their decks on specifically Steamcrave, they want to get that coil as low as possible. But with this deck, and as you can see, there's what, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So a total of 12 honeycomb airflows, or tracked airflow, however you want to call it. In my opinion, getting those coils too low into there, you're not going to get enough of the air action, essentially. You're not going to get enough clearance to be able to utilize that whole deck to get completely under there. It's just, in my opinion, I think it's going to be like almost a suffocating issue, just way too close. So if you get it right about 5, 5.5, you should have just barely enough room under there to see a pretty decent gap. So when you have both of them in, you should be able to hit under both of them. So, and they are it's a postless deck design, essentially. Have your rub screws that are in there. Very easy, very smooth threading in those guys. There. What I did is I got them a little closer together, kind of divided the holes kind of per coil base. So I have 3 sets under this coil of the holes and 3 sets under this coil. And of course, if you draw tight enough, it'll come off to this side, and then even in between the 2 coils there. So that is how I placed it. And so far, doing good. We'll come back up on top and really dive down on it. So we're gonna go ahead and throw some cotton in here, and of course fill it up with some low. Heck yeah. And then put it all back together, and it's actually a little different. No music, no fast forwarding. That weird. Just gonna go ahead and this up, since I already got the coils in there. They've already been strummed, all that good stuff. We're just gonna go ahead and let's give you a little sneak peek, I guess, of how I conserve some cotton. Conservate. And yeah, I'm not even figure out what I tried to say. Anyway, how I use some cotton and how I actually work it without all the music and getting all bedded up. So you'll get to see me brush out my cotton for days, which annoys people. But other than that, yeah. So the Ragnar I have been using for, like I said, at least 2 weeks. I think I'm right at my 2 week mark. I have tried the mesh deck, and then of course I tried the coils that you see here. Get the ends there, and of course the coils I am running in this guy are a little bit of AJ Holland's coils here. We got some 4-core aliens that I bought off of him, so definitely shout out to AJ, making some great coils there. So all I'm doing is trying to make sure that most to all of these strands are completely straight and that there's no little loose ends there. And then get the little ends there too, all nice and straight. Get any strays like that. And specifically with this deck, you want to have it pretty much touching that bottom O-ring. So if you see there, I pretty much placed it perfect. All I got to do is cut all the little sprays and strays. This guy, take and pop right in there. In there and get all relaxed and just lay in there, just chill out. Laying in there. We're not cramming you in there. Putting you in your home there and screaming at you to stay there. Oh, Bob Ross, little nice and fluffy, little happy. Yeah, we're not gonna do that ever again. But we're gonna do the same on the other side. But as you'll see, it just laid in there, nice, loose. You got to touch it a little bit, and it was just a bed of fluffiness. So, and you will have people out there that say this is completely pointless, useless. Why are you fluffing your cotton out? I don't know. Me, it works really well for me. I can almost always tell when I don't do this, and it's usually because more than likely it's a volume issue. Too much cotton. I'd rather be able to fluff it out like this and figure that part out than have too much in there and not. Down to the O-ring again. There we go. And again, I just like getting all the little loose strays out of there. That's really effective. Again, should just be packed in there. Not so loose that you're moving in and you're seeing half the deck, but definitely not tight enough that you can't just wiggle it around a bit. So, nice thing is with this one, it didn't take that long to figure out how to wick it. Said just cut even with that O-ring, push it in there, fluff it out if you want. Don't want to. That's a total decision made by you. So, tell you whether you have to do that or not. Suggest it though. Get a little on here to start. Saturate it up a little bit. Then here's a little trick that I do. Now that you don't want to touch this because it's all nice and clean or got a bunch of juice all over it, I take the deck. This is something a little different with Steamcraves. Normally you have to find that little notch and make and match up the notch and all that. This one I liked better because you got the air hole here. When you look inside here, where's your air hole? Okay. Now you just line that up and and you press, boom. It's in there evenly. It's perfect. Didn't have to worry about lining up. The little edges are blind as a bat like me, so it's sometimes hard to do. So, but as you see, it popped in there perfectly. So all we do from there, put that back on. Want to lock juice flow control. When you do go to refill this, it does say in the manual. That was a little close. Let's back that guy up there now. It does say in the manual, you'll want to lock it, turn the tank upside down, set a couple times. all I do is I take and I keep it open. I turn it upside down, then turn off the juice flow control. Maybe give it one puff off, and never had a problem with the Ragnar or any pretty much of Steamcrave's tanks by doing that process right there. So turn it upside down, close it off, turn it right back side up, and just give it a real quick puff. All nice and filled up there. Go ahead and turn on that juice flow. Watch the bubble action going on. This will take a lot of juice. We're at right now reading at a 0.12. Let's gonna bump that up to try 90 watts since it's a candied fruit. But we'll come back up on top. We'll vape on it, and I'll give you my final thoughts on the Ragnar. All right, we are back up with the Ragnar. Gotta love the name. Gotta love the name. I know to begin with, before this was released, they were going to call it the Viking RDTA, and I'm like, but due to I think a conflict with the name and another vaping company, they did have to change it. But I mean, Ragnar, that's about as Viking as you can get without calling it Viking. So a couple of things we're going to get out of the way first, though, is we're going to get some specs and stuff out of the way. So again, slide time. So this is, of course, directly from Steamcrave's website. This will kind of give you a little bit more of how the airflow works. So if you want to pause that right there, I'll leave that up there. But the deck that it is showing is the Ragnar deck. The big things with the Ragnar deck I can point out is that they call it 80-20 airflow. I think it's actually, in my opinion, closer to like 70-30. And even if you rock it the way I usually do with like most of the fruits and stuff, I do the one line and then the bottom hole open. I would say that's restrictive enough that I can almost get maybe 60-40 out of it. So it is going to be dependent on which way you flip or you turn your AFC, but they did design it for 70-30. And that right there, that's going to be one of the big pros. The flavor on this thing is phenomenal. Like, you know, I'm a huge Vapers Cloud fanboy. Some of you in chat have called me, especially on the show. I used the heck out of the Trilogy RDTA, but since I've gotten this, I haven't even touched it. I haven't touched any other RTAs, even though this is a RDTA, just because that airflow is exceptional. It's smooth, and because it's getting the vapor from the side of the coil and underneath the coils, it's just, it's great. But all that honeycombs, or all those little holes underneath on that postless deck, that's where you're getting your under coil airflow action. And I think it's just really just cranking that flavor up a notch. So, and then we get into the chamber reducer. They do say it's specifically for the mesh deck, but when you actually get into the manual, they don't call it a reducer. They might have. I think it was in the manual or somewhere else I read them. Not 100% sure on that, but it's also been called the chamber adapter, because it will allow you to use the like Aromomizer V2 decks in there. And the main deal with that is that's why when I showed you in Dive Down, the mesh deck, we really didn't go into it all that much because I just had the review for the Aromomizer V2 Plus in there, and it's the same exact deck. And when you buy just the mesh kit, it's exactly the same thing as for there. So that's what that chamber reducer is for, but it's also kind of an adapter, deck adapter. So now here's all your parameters. It is a 35 millimeter. Right now, this is, I believe, the 18 mil mode. And then if you use the other glass, it's 25 mils. So usually I don't go to 25. It's a little much for me, but 18 is just this regular glass. 35 millimeter, like I said, 810 drip tip. Any 810 drip tip will work in it. I really like the one that comes with it, though. That nice kind of conical shape that it does. I think that also a little bit of flavor. And even though it's really large, it is very comfortable. The resin they use is super buttery smooth. There's two ways you can get the Ragnar right now. You do have the basic kit, which will just have, of course, the atomizer and then the chamber reducer, or they do have the newer advanced kit where you get, of course, the extended glass in it, but you also get the mesh deck, and of course, the chamber reducer, but that's in the first one, and you do get a velocity style deck. If you are a big rebuildable mesh fan, I would definitely recommend the advanced kit, or if you're a Steamcrave fan and you have the Aromomizer Plus V2 with the mesh deck, you can totally just use it on the regular kit. So same way with the Velocity deck as well. It just depends on how much Steamcrave stuff you have in your back pocket, essentially. So, okay, with that being said, that's kind of the price points. It's like $59.99 or for the basic, or $79.99 for the advanced. Or right now, they're also doing that 5-year celebration where you get the Hydron mod with the backpack and the Ragnar and a t-shirt and special serialized numbers, stuff like that, for I think like $185, something like that. Which, by the way, that's my normal Hydron setup. Got the Asgard 30mm, of course, rocking apricot custard by E&D. Amazing stuff. But for in my opinion, the mesh deck is great. The chamber reducer works really well where it's supposed to. I'm not a huge rebuildable mesh fan. The only one that I usually tend to go back to if I want to deal with mesh, that is going to be the Titan up there, which is the series mesh, just because that gets warm enough for me. Yeah, with the, just the regular postless deck, or I shouldn't even say regular, the Ragnar deck in there, doing really well. Like I said, I've not used anything else, so lots and lots of pros. Fit, finish, this thing is just beautiful. I've only had one leak issue, and that was because it was in my bag at work and it was tipped over on its side for like an hour and a half, something like that. And it really doesn't take anything special to wick it. It's just kind of follow the O-rings like any other deck, and if you got a little too much cotton in there, thin it out. If you go to start folding it in there and it folds in there just fine, don't thin it out. So lots and lots of good stuff with it, especially for it having some under or bottom airflow, no leakage issues. Like normal, the glass being inset, it's pretty resistant to getting knocked around, even though they do give you a band. So yeah, the problem is, and I know there might be somebody out there be like, well, you're reviewing for Steamcrave, of course everything's going to be good. I'm trying to come up with a con, and it's just, it's really not happening with this one specifically. All their products that I've had here lately have been really good, with some little cons like the Hydron and the backpack. I threw out some cons there, nothing real big. Yeah, I honestly can't give you a single con. I don't know, too many airflow options. Steamcrave, come on. I mean, the whole thing, you can't even turn off the airflow. There's a con for you. But yeah, if you are looking for, if you don't mind the size, because that could be a subjective con to you, being 35mm might be too big for you. But if you are looking for just a killer flavor pumping, or I'm going to say TA, you cannot go wrong with this, because even for some reason, if you don't like that postless deck, you can throw in a mesh deck. So if you don't like mesh, well, just throw in the regular postless deck. Yeah, it's that is what I definitely got for that. So I want to give Steamcrave a huge shout out for supporting my channel, sending me stuff for review, and just amazing. I want to say personally, amazing job with this RDTA. You guys killed it with this, and a lot of their products coming out now are just pretty amazing. So if you have not checked out Steamcrave stuff, definitely go check out their stuff now, because they're making some really good stuff. Or if you were a Steamcrave fan in the past and didn't care for them in the past, it's time to revisit. They're starting to knock this way out the park. But that is all I got today for the Ragnar RDTA. I want to thank each and every one of you yet again for coming to Vape with a Viking, and I'll check you later.